everybody from the registration area and the tea area to come inside. We are starting the event. It is my immense pleasure to welcome all of you to this gathering focused on one of the most urgent conversations of our time, our collective responsibility toward planetary well-being. I also feel it's important to tell that Justice Jasmeet Singh, the chief guest of the evening, is on his way. He's just stuck in the traffic. So we're just going to start with the event and introduce our panelists. I would like to welcome Mr. Karthike Sarabhai. Mr. Sarabhai, sir, please. Mr. Sarabhai is the founder and director of Center for Environment Education. I request Sir Anand Grover, Senior Advocate, Supreme Court, to please, yes, sir, please provide it. Thank you. Thank you, sir. I would now like to welcome Dr. Liveen Kaur Kalon. Dr. Livleen is the Director of Environmental Education and Awareness Division, EEA, at TERI. Thank you so much, ma'am. And I request Shashi Rao, sir, please come on stage. So he's the administration head and the person who has found the Friday group at Supreme Court. They make sure that different topics are discussed and given more information to the other lawyers. Thank you so much, sir. Hello, sir. I would like to welcome Justice Jasmeet Singh on the dais, please, sir. I would first like to welcome Dr. Vasanti Rao. Vasanti Rao is a researcher and communications specialist. She leads CMS Vatavaran, Asia's largest environment film festival, and is the co-chair of IUCN, Nature for All Global Movement. We welcome you, ma'am. I request Ms. Deepika Marwa, Senior Advocate, to please facilitate with her with a token of appreciation. Thank you so much. I am deeply honored to welcome Honorable Justice Jasmeet Singh as our chief guest this evening. Justice Singh has consistently demonstrated a strong judicial commitment to governance grounded in constitutional values, fairness, and public accountability, principles that lie at the heart of planetary well-being. I personally have appeared a lot of times in front of Justice Jasmeet Singh, and I know for a fact he has always pushed and promoted the youth and made sure that intergenerational work keeps on moving forward. I'm so obliged that sir is here. Thank you, sir. Thank you for being here for us. I would also request Sir Vikas Singh, Senior Advocate. Over to Ananya.
Thank you, Deeksha, for the introduction. Good evening, everyone. The book we are launching today is supported by 3 remarkable organizations that embody its spirit and value. It is a collaboration between the Earth Charter, which led the work, the University for Peace, which published the book, and the Center for Environment Education, which is co-hosting today's event. We will now watch a short introductory video of the organization.
Our home is in crisis, and we know we have to act. Yet knowing is not enough. We don't need a new agenda. We need a new mindset. This is Earth Charter, a document with 16 principles turning conscience into action.
So the Earth Charter could be seen as 2 things. In one hand is an international movement, vision of sustainability and peace that the Earth Charter articulates. And we here function as the international hub or secretariat of this movement.
Implementing these global endeavors, the Center for Environment Education plays a pivotal role. Let us now watch a video highlighting to help create a sustainable future.
To the Science Express, a specially designed train sponsored by the Indian government. This place was really just a dream. It was a hill which was totally barren on the outskirts of Ahmedabad. We had no building and no institution, no funding, but a very powerful idea. And that was to get people involved, civil society involved in looking at development. The environment came in as this whole campus grew. You could hear the peacocks. The environment came in as we ourselves discovered it.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for being here. Sir, I request Rajesh Aggarwal to please provide you with an appreciation token. Just the little wisdom.
Now, before we move any further, I would like to welcome the dignitaries in the audience. Nikhil Jain, Secretary, Supreme Court Advocate on Record Association, and Vipin Nair, President, Supreme Court Advocate on Record Association. Thank you so much for joining us. We would like to bring to you an address from Miriam Viela, the Executive Director of Earth Charter International.
Hello, greetings from Costa Rica. I'm happy that this event is taking place in New Delhi today, and thank you for everyone who made this possible. This book we launched, called Envisioning and Evaluating Our Contributions to Planetary Well-Being Through the Lens of the Earth Charter, it is part of a pilot project that we started 3 years ago when Earth Charter International invited several people to a series of dialogues about the need to create a new instrument to measure what really matters. So this publication is a result of that. We hope this new publication will stimulate dialogue, will stimulate our vision regarding the possibility of creating new narratives and instruments. It is also an invitation for more individuals, researchers, and institutions to engage in this research. I want to thank specifically Deeksha and Kartikeya, who are taking the lead with the Center for Environmental Education in India to organize this launch event. Thank you so much, and I wish you a very good event and dialogue. Thank you.
Now, it is my pleasure to introduce the co-author and co-editor of this book, Deeksha Aggarwal, our moderator for today's discussion. Deeksha Aggarwal is an international lawyer specializing in environmental law, human rights, and animal protection. She practices law in India before the Supreme Court of India, various high courts, and national tribunals, advocating for environmental justice, sustainable development, women's rights, and animal welfare. Ms. Deeksha is working tirelessly towards animal rights in India and internationally, in courts as well as on ground, especially during the Delhi floods in 2023. As co-author and co-editor of this book on planetary well-being, she examines how legal and ethical frameworks can guide our collective responsibility towards the earth. Through her work, Deeksha strives to strengthen law that safeguard both people and the planet for a sustainable future. Over to you, Deeksha.
Wow, thank you, Ananya. Okay, with this, I would like to start a little about the book. Our book, Envisioning and Evaluating Our Contributions to Planetary Well-Being Through the Lens of the Earth Charter, serves as both as a philosophical, grounding, and practical guide of rethinking how humanity governs its relationships with the Earth. In many ways, this book lays the intellectual foundation for today's panel. With this as a context of the book, I now request our chief guest, Justice Jasmeet Singh, to enlighten us with a few words. Sir.
The eminent panelists present here, Mr. Sarabhai, Dr. Kalo, Dr. Rao, Ms. Aggarwal, senior advocates, Mr. Panjwani, who's a name in himself to environment, Ms. Marwa, Mr. Manish Mohan, my dear friend. It's indeed a privilege to join all of you here on the launch of this book that discusses a pivotal moment in our human story. We find today ourselves confronting ecological strains such as rapid climatic changes, biodiversity loss, degradation, loss of resources, which is rapidly narrowing our window to take the corrective course. The Earth Charter preamble reminds us that we stand at a critical moment in this Earth's history, and we must choose our way forward with wisdom and collective responsibility. We have rising temperatures, extreme weather conditions, pressure on our water resources, and threats to biodiversity that pose direct and immediate challenges to millions. Yet, as a country, we have Article 21 in the Constitution, which gives us the right to life and living in a clean environment. It is for us to find a balance between the needs of a nation, the development that is required, and the right, fundamental right under Article 21, which each citizen of this country has. Now, having said that, coming to the book, just to say that I have glanced through it and I'm really enlightened. It has voices from scientists, policy thinkers, educators, economists, indigenous leaders. It has 20 chapters which reflect a shared conviction that the ecological and social crisis we face cannot be addressed in pieces. The big book explores how humanity's contribution to sustainability can be envisioned and evaluated through ethical, ecological, and legal perspective. The book highlights how Earth Charter International has been working to expand our planetary consciousness and strengthen our ethical responsibility to both human family and the wider living world. Despite decades of new knowledge, policies, and technologies, the environment and social changes before us continue to grow at a rapid pace. This reality has led many of us to question whether our conventional measures of progress, still anchored in outdated development narratives, are adequate for the world now that we inhabit. While the book brings together work of 20 distinct authors, several unifying themes run common through all the chapters. Each contribution examines our shared global challenges and the responses that they demand, seeks to clarify the meaning of planetary well-being, highlights examples of countries that are pioneering, practicing aligned with ecological and social integrity. It proposes methods for evaluating and measuring national contributions to planetary well-being. It discusses the essential role of education in shaping the values and competencies needed for this transformation. Today in Delhi, the AQI, I think, was somewhere about 400. Yesterday was 300. So we are amidst experts who are going to tell us what is the way forward. Every day I hear Dr. Guleria on TV saying that morning walk is absolute no-no. If you have to go for a game or a jog, please avoid. This is equivalent to smoking 20 cigarettes in a day. So I don't know what is happening. I don't know where we are going. As a judge, we can only express our despair. We can only say, please, at least from the judicial angle, we can only say plant trees. We can only say go for CNG, go for battery-operated EV vehicles. But I think that is where, as far as we are concerned, our thought process comes to an end. We are not experts. We are not masters. We are not people who are equipped to do it. But you are the torchbearers who have to show us the way. And believe me, I can say for myself and I can say for most of the people, we are ready to follow the path you show us. So with that, I just want to say that chapter 5 is one of the most interesting chapters in this book. That chapter I have read, and I have been very impressed with that chapter. So keep up the good work, all the best, and congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for such insightful and inspiring words. May I now invite our esteemed chief guest and panelists to officially release the book, marking an important milestone. With this, I invite Deeksha to moderate the discussion on governance of planetary well-being through effective legal and ethical frameworks.
I would like to start with the panel discussion. So I especially thank our panelists with us here who have set a direction of an interesting topic already in their careers. And they so now what we are wanting right now is an open dialogue and how we want to see planetary well-being. So we wish to consider this as one of the first conversations in our country regarding planetary well-being and bring more awareness about this unique concept, what it is, how it works, and what do we see it as in future. So we want to bring more awareness. We do not wish to create it as a propaganda, but we want to understand and move as a community forward. We do not want this is how it should be done, but rather a collaborative effort from everybody, and in how do we see this as a problem and how different dimensions come into the picture. With this, we request you to write down any questions the audience wishes to ask, which we would put to the panel towards the end of the discussion. And the topic for the discussion would be governance of planetary well-being through effective legal and ethical frameworks. And there are just 4 major things that we would want to start with. So first would be defining planetary well-being, and I would request it is whatever is comfortable to the panelists, if they wish to stay and talk there because there are mics available already, or if they wish to come to the podium, that is also their choice. Because we also wish this to be an open dialogue, more of a flowing conversation. So if I request Karthikeya sir to take the lead and start with the concept and explain what would be the definition of planetary well-being.
Thank you, Deeksha. This whole concept of the planet and planetary well-being, we've looked at it from different ways, but in this book and in the whole concept, we're looking at it as a different indicator of what it is. The word planet, or people thinking in terms of a planet, is so much required. I believe ash from the recent volcano in Africa has been seen here. Or on a sort of positive note, the sandstorms in the Sahara take minerals and make the Amazon work. So the planet is in fact not bound by our political boundaries. But that thinking of planet as a whole seems to have sort of been on the decline over the last few years. You had world leaders post the war, you had several people thinking on the planet. That's how the UN system really came about, and strengthening the UN and that as a mechanism of deciding. 2015 was when the Paris Agreement got signed. And at that time, and it's also when the Sustainable Development Goals got decided. So at that time there was a feeling that there's a larger consideration and people should do it. What has happened to the narrative now, perhaps led by the US, but not only the US, is that we should all look after ourselves, and if we all work in self-interest, somehow the planet will take care of it. It is like the earlier thinking that if you look after shareholders' interest, then everything else gets covered. The company only has to look at that. So there is a very major crisis at the moment. The other crisis which is going on is, earlier we were thinking that there are people who don't know about the problem, and there are people who know, and how do you get them to act. Today, that's not the only problem. The problem today is there's a large amount of information which is misinformation, which is going. So it's not a question of knowing or not knowing, it's knowing the correct thing or not knowing. I just had a thing this morning come to me which says that carbon dioxide is so critical, or carbon is so critical to all life forms. And look at these environmentalists who are badnaming carbon dioxide. Now the whole question of, so showing as if you are against life or don't understand life, without this concept of either the balance or what the proportion is and other things. So there is a problem today. When the Earth Charter came out, this was not the problem, but they thought that just like you had the Human Rights Commission, you could use this as a way of looking at planet rights. And in fact, there are many papers on whether the Earth Charter can be used as a soft law instrument. And in America, they've quoted it several times as a soft law thing. But we are today in a crisis, and I'm not sure if anyone knows the answer to this, but I thought I'd just sort of say that as a beginning. And I would like, Lively, maybe you to say what you think about.
Thank you. I'm sitting with someone who actually taught me what environment education was all about. And I would say this is the beauty of intergenerational bonds also. So as I moved from different institutions, like the foundations that I got from Center for Environment Education, WWF, Terry, they molded me into a personality who had a very open view about what is coming your way. But one thing is very certain, Deeksha, our rooms should be full of young people. Because somehow or the other, we are trying to educate or make aware people who already know all. And in this process, we are some way putting away or shutting down the voices of the young. This entire Earth Charter, like it's a beautiful document. I would say beautiful because it is seated in a beautiful place, and also it still carries a lot of weight. But when it was drafted, when things moved on, we were not aware of AI. We were not aware of economic problems. We were not keeping the youth away from integrating themselves into institutions. There were a lot of opportunities. But now, as we have moved on, like Sir has spoken about carbon dioxide, on the other side, there's a lot of pressure on the youth. And even like this current GRAP situation, there are offenders, I would say, who offend on ground of values. You may have an option to stay at home, but what stops you from driving your car to go to a recreational place? So this value system has to be so strong. And here is where I feel that our generations, the intergenerational dialogues, the conversations, books like this, reviews, critiques, absorbing the Gen Z into our systems is very, very essential. So I know you are focusing on judiciary processes, you are talking about how it makes sense in the current times, but also, is it going to be restricted to law schools? Or some way or the other, our textbooks are also going to say a view of it. So this is very, very important, and this puts a lot of ownership to you, sir. You are heading the NCERT curriculum board, and also to all of us, because we have families, and these trainings have to evolve from the kitchens to the drawing rooms to schools and to the societies, that this is something that is the need of the hour. And yes, we cannot shut our eyes to technology. We cannot shut our eyes to growing, emerging occupations and skills. So we'll have to somehow find a middle way to balance both economy and environment.
Right. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Dr. Vasanti, ma'am, please.
Good evening. Let me first start by adding my congratulations to the authors of this book. I think it's very well required and needed, and so congratulations to Deeksha and all the a very important contribution, not just as an academic piece, but also a piece where you can measure and indicators for accountability. I think that's the key thing I'm going to leave. I was very inspired by Justice Singh's speech right now, so I'm not going to read what I have actually prepared, but I really want to say two things. One, nobody talked about the elephant in the room. The elephant in the room today is what the crisis Delhi is going through. And he did. He had the guts to do it. And planetary well-being is what we're going through right now. This is planetary well-being is human well-being. It's personal. It's immediate. It's my health. It's your health. It's reducing your child's years of life. It's as serious as that. And yet we're still talking about it and not doing anything about it. So that is the irony of the piece. Also, I want to flag, I don't know whether this is the right one, I'm not going to miss the opportunity of seeing so many lawyers in one place to actually say this, that abhi jo Aravali pe hearing aayi hai, and thanks to our ministry, is scandalous, especially when we are all going through such crisis and not able to breathe ourselves. How are we going to survive if the Aravlis are also destroyed now? So, I mean, this is where, when you talk about governance, governance is not just for the government. Governance is not just for policies. Governance is not just for legal experts like this. Governance is for everyone, including me, including you. If we can't change ourselves and we can't hold others accountable, including our esteemed judgments that we are getting, then we are not doing our job in contributing to planetary well-being, which is my well-being, by the way. And we are forgetting that. All the big negotiations that are happening, whether it's COP or the World Conservation Congress, they're all reinforcing and telling us the same. But who is going to do it? You and me. And if we continue to only just talk, nothing is going to change. I'm not going to sound pessimistic, but that's the reality. And youth, thank you very much for reminding us. उनको जेल में डाल देते हैं अगर प्रोटेस्ट करते हैं तो India Gate में. So I'm sorry, they're not going to do anything if we're going to keep quiet.
It's true. It's very sentimental.
Just to set ball rolling, I just want to express that with the advancement of technology and our progress, we bound to create wastes. So solid waste management, e-waste management, how, I mean, please show us the path, as Justice Singh said, that how it is to be managed and what is the yardstick that we follow so that it may get dissipated and we get the restorations back.
Thank you so much, sir. Well, I do necessarily, I want to say, I do see that it is a sentimental topic for all of us because planetary well-being is too vast. It's a very vast field. It surpasses legal, political, governance, every aspect. So, yes, it also transpires between the whole idea of intergenerational equity. It also takes a step forward. The way I see it, it takes a step forward to see the different dimensions of how it works. For example, it matters how one community affects the other community and how they need to have a dialogue about it. How that will raise conflict, but still then there needs to be some middle ground where, peace can be made and thus planetary well-being can come into picture. So I would ask you, since you are here.
Planetary well-being is a huge topic. I don't have the expertise or the knowledge to answer, but yes, as far as I am concerned, I am only concerned with Delhi. I want to get up. I want to have good AQI. I want to know that I can go out for a walk. I can go for a run. I can go for a game. And it is not going to be affecting my lungs, number one. Number two, I also have to think of the common man who has to get out on the road to earn, maybe he's a rickshaw puller. If he doesn't does that rickshaw for 6 hours or 10 hours a day, he's not going to be able to feed his family. Now, the amount of, they say that when you're doing physical exercise, you are taking more oxygen or more of these suspended particles. I don't know how that works, but as a position that I am in, it is if something comes my way in a matter, I have to ensure that that person gets a clean air. It says right under Article 21. Then I also am cautious of the fact that yes, grab 3, grab 4, but what is the effect? Effect is that you are not permitting construction activity. Again, see the effect it has. There are these migrant laborers from Bihar who have come, their daily wages. The contractor is not going to pay them if they're not going to do their work. They're doing the work, which is demolition, which is again the amount of malba, the amount of dust, the sweeper, who is the MCD sweeper, who's going to sweep every day in the morning. Now you have the electrical, those trucks which are sweeping, but I see still there are people with those jhadus and cleaning. The amount of dust they are, and they're there right in the middle. They don't have, so I don't know. I mean, I'm too naive to go on the well-being of the planet. I don't, as I told you, I don't have the wherewithal to comment on it. But yes, the frog in the well that I am, I can only see these things, and which are very, very, very disturbing. We are not tackling it at all. How can it be that for last 15 years or 20 years, November to February or March, which is the best time to be in Delhi, we used to wait for this period, is a period where we are told that you should go to Goa, you should go to the hills, you should not be getting out. I don't understand how this is happening. So my planet for the time being is Delhi. Once I look at a better Delhi, I can comment something on planetary. So
I think it's not to see them as different. The planetary well-being is the well-being of each and every micro part of the planet. At least human, we are talking about Delhi, but for someone it might be just that particular housing colony. For something, for an ant on the tree, or something, it might just be that tree. But it is affecting everything, just like your DNA. Every part of you has it. This crisis is available and seen in just about anything you look at. The glass of water which we drink, we don't know whether we are consuming microplastics or not. So today, there is no part which is not affected. For a while, the Western countries used to think that things like floods and droughts and other things are things you read about and which happens in these developing countries. That is also now changed. So I think you will very soon find that there is no shelter, there is nowhere you can go to where it's not affecting you. It might not affect you at that time. But the fact remains that, say, we were talking to some builders in Ahmedabad, that they are saying now the rich are all moving out of the city, and they can afford to be outside, and you are having this, so that problem of equity in this is very much there. It affects everyone, but the equity problem sort of makes it even worse. And Sir mentioned about the rickshaw police. One thing I had brought my shoes to walk tomorrow, but I'm not reconsidering it. I'm reconsidering it. We are fortunate to have one of my colleagues, Sunita Narayan, here in the audience. She has done incredible amount for this very, very problem. And I suppose has been in and out of your courts. I don't know whose courts, but I think, Sunita, just say a word or so. She's come for a different purpose. She's come to take me out for dinner. But I think, Sunita, it might be nice for you to just say a word about it.
No, I just want to say. So I think everybody has joined the dots so beautifully. The planetary well-being is our well-being. Health is connected to the environment, and the environment is really about the planet. We have climate change today, which is an existential threat, but I think the opportunity for us, and I'm so glad all the panelists raised it, is really what I keep saying, that co-benefit, that if we can fix Delhi's air, we fix local air pollution, we also move the city towards public transport, which reduces the carbon dioxide that we emit in the air. We don't do it for climate change, we do it for our health. But I think it is important that we should not give up, however tough it is. And I would like to just point out that the judiciary has played a big role in helping us to get to where we are in terms of setting up the framework. Today, all of us have the AQI. We have a relationship of air pollution to the health. It's important. Let's not discount it. Yamuna is dead. It hasn't been cremated, but frankly, it's only an aesthetic problem for us. But when it comes to air pollution, there is outrage, there is anguish, because we know the impact on our health. And I think that's what makes the big difference. We know the impact on our health, the health of our children. We know that this is a compromise that we cannot keep making. So I think it is important that we should not give up this fight. We need to make sure that we continue. And I think with all the people in this room, I think a lot can be done. Thank you very much. Thank you for asking me.
Thanks, Elisa. And I should also just mention for those who may not be aware that the whole environmental education movement, it was said that we started in '84 when the Ministry of Environment was coming up as one of the pillars. But then two things happened, one at the local level in Ahmedabad and one at the national level. In Ahmedabad, we were talking to industries and everything, and nothing much was happening till the High Court closed down 650 industries one fine day. And then suddenly, everyone wanted to hear what we had to say. We had nothing to do with that closing. But suddenly, everyone got conscious of what is to be done. But at another level, MC Mehta's public interest litigation, which led to the court order which said you will have compulsory environmental education if it is the duty of every citizen to protect it. You cannot do one without another. And that first judgment, I came out sometime in the late 90s, and then they were not following it. And I believe the next one was in 2001 or something, where I think the Honorable Judge even said that I don't mind putting state education ministers behind bars if they don't do it. Now that really completely changed it. And the national curriculum framework, not only because of that, but because of the consciousness which is raising, today we have a fantastic opportunity. Me, Loveleen, and several others are part of that, writing a textbook. There's going to be a compulsory subject. And hopefully these issues are coming up continuously. But the problem is we don't really have the time to fix the problem after 20 years. I want to go maybe for a walk tomorrow, or you want to spend this at least this winter. What can you do now? And it's not a question of going so bad. It's interesting that the environment movement, which really started globally in '72, perhaps at the Stockholm conference, that period of the early '50s before that was that big London smog. And London people were talking like us, but there were so many deaths reported. So they went a step beyond where we are today. But do we need to do that? Then they cleaned it up. And they could clean it up. So do we need to go through another few years and have a whole lot of deaths before everyone wakes up and does it? We are going to do it in any case. But can't you do it based on understanding rather than based on a deep crisis?
So in fact, I think where London was, we are there. We are already there. We are not discussing about it, but we are already there. But it also brings in the idea what Dr. Vasanthi was bringing into the picture, that if not us, then who? We are sitting here, we are discussing, we are saying that, oh, yes, Delhi pollution is there. Yes, we need to discuss about this, but what do we need to do? Yes, we need to talk about the transport system. We need to think about how Delhi air is getting affected, and it's not just AQI, which is the problem anymore. It is a societal living around it. And it is not just the younger generation who is going to face it, it's also the elder generation and the future generation. And then comes the idea of how do we understand waste management. And so, because it is so vast, how do we want to govern something like this? Through ethical frameworks, through educational frameworks? What frameworks do we really bring in and use the legal frameworks to add so that something like this can actually come into fruition? Dr. Loveleen.
Really said something. I want to give some possible solutions. I don't know, or maybe ideas. Incentivizing green is very important. And green doesn't mean greenwashing, it actually means something that makes absolute sense to the planet and to us. A few things, that could be possibly done looking also at the social structure of the society. Who is there on the roads when we talk about traffic? It's mostly cars which are run and they're just a single person, single user of the cars. One mode of transport, especially in the cities, if somehow we can incentivizing use of school buses which are green, which are also run free of cost for the parents. You try to do it, immediately I think change would happen, because what we see is most of the children right from that stage have that privilege to be dropped to schools by the parents, and carpooling is there on paper, but it doesn't happen. But if it is within the structure of the school provisions, that mandatory use of school buses should be there, which is completely free of cost. It can start at a different structure, we will see. Then use of bicycles. Well, we may find that it's a very far-fetched idea, but India progressed from the stage when the central Delhi itself was mostly run by babus who used to travel every day, and cycles were very much in use. In foreign countries, people are so used to walking. Whenever they move out, they always see the final point and they map themselves to the public transport and they start walking. Here we feel that we don't want to walk, we want a car from our home to the destination place, and it is something felt as a right. So this shift of the way we look at life has to start very young. Of course, the children and of course the families. There has to be family ownership to this shift and incentivization. I don't know how this will be done, but it needs to be there for immediate action. But of course, the governance and legal frameworks will follow. It will take time, but we need to clean up our immediate environment tomorrow. Today.
Well, I think it's the perfect room to know how it would be done. This is the best room for that. All lawyers, they will figure out this. The judge here will figure out a way to make it happen somehow. Obviously, we would need the expert people to tell us where do we want to begin this with. Data has to be there. That's true. So, if you would like to add something to it, we can otherwise continue.
So I'll just to take it forward. So this is classic example. So what happened is that about 20 years ago, the MCD came up with a plan that rather than going horizontal, we will go vertical. So they said that stilt parking allowed, plus if any building, any sanction plan is made with stilt parking, you will get an extra floor. So now with the real estate prices in Delhi, all these houses, especially in Defense Colony, GK1, GK2, Panchil, the high selling, so as to say. So they all had these trees in front of the houses. If you see the earlier way the Delhi was planned, that outside the boundary wall there was a drain, stormwater drain, and then they had planted trees. Now with the stilt parking, all floors need to have access to the stilt parking. So they would give the plan to the MCD, without mapping the trees on the plan. The MCD would sanction the plan based on the FAR and everything, and as a consequence, all the trees in all the colonies were just being cut. So nobody bothered. They don't. Then through court intervention, there were a series of judgments. They said that you'll have to show the trees. Thereafter, the person, MCD engineer, will visit, and thereafter will see that the tree is not going to be cut. Your plan has to take into account the tree, and with that tree, the plan. So that's what you're saying is how.
I just want to make a small comment.
Yes,
Because the solid waste comment was not answered. The thing is, for air pollution, I can't say that I'll clean up my little house or my little area. And so we all have an excuse, yes, I'm not doing this, but I'm doing it. What is the excuse for solid waste? What is the excuse if I have plastic bottles thrown off or other things thrown, there is no excuse because that can be solved locally. So while we might blame this thing, why can't we clean this one? We are trying these experiments. I've got two of my colleagues here. At the back, Mondal, he is looking at Noida, where we are working with the community to see that there is no solid waste, less generated and less thrown. And so Prabjot Sodhi, he's got this materials recycling facility in Noida. And I would say that we are trying desperately, that at least if we can show some area, that come and see this area, it can be done right here in the Delhi larger metropolitan area. You can have a place where at least solid waste you will not see. Then I think demonstration does have an effect.
Yes.
And I think, Sodhi, we should have people, anyone wanted to come, let us visit that center and send an invitation to everyone that please come and see what is being done.
Sir, I want to say only one thing. Why that when we go to Dubai or to Singapore or to any other country, there is no dust at all on the roads. And at one point of time when we went to Dubai, we saw that 50-story building and there was no vehicle we could see. When we went and met that person, he first 12 floors were only for parking. So therefore, there is no outside clothes hanging on the building.
That's
dictatorship.
That's the problem.
And in 1984, this Dubai was, not grown. And it's only thereafter immediately that it has become a world-class city.
As you said,
So-
there's a whole.
Ananya, if you please may give a thank you note.
I have to
invite. Sir has
just
to leave.
I have to
So,
take
yes.
I just have to take leave and Dr. Kalu, just to say that if I leave now, I can pick up 3 colleagues on my way for a wedding. And we'll do a carpool. So, otherwise there'll be 4 cars going. So just to implement what you just said.
Just a minute, sir. I would like to invite Rajesh Aggarwal, ma'am, advocate at the Supreme Court, to deliver this vote of thanks.
Sir, may I thank you please first, sir. So 2 minutes I'll take yours, sir, because you have been so important for us and you are the guest of honor and the chief guest over here, and you have given such a remarkable address to us that we are, everybody is looking at the judiciary nowadays, that everything will be solved by judiciary. And so the panelists are also at the end of the, it wants to say that judiciary is something which can help for all kinds of problems for us. And you are the pivotal and you are the person, environmentalist, who is sitting at bench and is solving all the problems.
Not about the notification of the Delhi bridge.
Yes.
44
Yes.
kilometers.
So this is,
One order. Commendable.
sir, I was just about to say that, and you have said this, and this is the reason he is here and has been throughout the discussion and with the panelists, and we are so thankful to sir, that, and we are looking forward for further. And we are looking forward for further things that can be done, and you have been the voice and the contribution for everything, for the environment, and we are looking forward, sir, that you will be helping us
Thank
in
you.
future also, sir.
Thank you so much.
And we are here for the discussion.
Yes,
Why
I'll
just,
take
sir?
Yes, sir wants to leave, sir.
you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Can we please still stay seated while the judge had to leave, while Justice Jasmeet Singh had to leave? We are still on the last bits of the discussion. We are just going to do a little closing remarks so that we can then know from where we want to start this conversation next time. If any one of you would like to start with the concluding remarks.
No, I would just say that this has been remarkable, this thing, because you had people, obviously from the judiciary point of view, but also environmental educators, and there is not enough dialogue or knowing what the other position is. So I think forums like this, where we can actually, not just a launch, but where one can actually have a discussion, would be very useful. That's all. But I think congratulations. I think the point which needs to be made is that there is a essentially unworkable development model which is everywhere, unfortunately, including Dubai. These are not sustainable models. Some things are sustainable only if a few people get to do it and everyone else suffers from it. So you are drawing water from all over, but so there you don't see anything. Even in Delhi, you go to a five-star hotel inside, you probably won't know that there's air pollution. So the point is to have sustainable models. We need to look at a different development model. The paradigm has to change. Now, whether India is one country which can do it. It has the intellectual power. It's, as you say, one of the fastest growing. It has a government which is supportive of larger environmental issues. So if we want a different barrier, so that is the discussion we want. Having got this, we are putting a chapter in 11th, 12th grade. Okay, what is Viksit Bharat going to look like? You know, we are asking the whole session is on just try and define. Now that you've learned about the environment, what is your vision of Viksit Bharat? Why? Because we want young people to understand that if I put this model, then it completely fails. So it's not a question of reaching there and then finding it. You can do that exercise today. You can do modeling today and others. So I think the big challenge in India is this. I think cities will have to be, they're called different names, but basically cities where the community itself, within a walking distance, something like 80-85% of your needs are met within that area. So then you have a rapid transport thing, but you don't have to go for everything where you have to go up and down. It's an impossibility. And already in Delhi, I was told, in fact, Sunita was telling me that they got a circular. Sunita was saying that they got a circular that you can't go, everyone can't come to work on the same days. Yeah. Oh. So that's really such a far-fetched idea. If we are discussing that 5-10 years ago here, you would say, no, surely not in Delhi. You know, but it is happening in Delhi. Even the concept of bottled water was strange some time ago. And as the Honorable Judge was saying, very soon we will all get used to the fact that we are all sitting here in masks and oxygen, and we'll say what's unusual about it. We had an earlier project in one of the Gujarat districts where there was a lot of fluorosis, and even 40-year-old everyone had a rope above their bed, and you hold the rope to get up. You can't get up on your own. So our people went and tried to say, "Bhai, kya problem hai?" बोलते कोई problem तो है नहीं कुछ. क्या problem नहीं कुछ problem. Why? Because everyone was doing that. Everyone felt कि ऐसा ही है. This is the norm. You see, new norm. So when you ask people what is the problem, you don't realize that the problem is that we can't drink water from our tap, which is what is possible in some countries. That we take it, वो तो होता ही है. So soon we'll say कि भाई हवाई ऐसा ही लेनी है. So I think from our education side, it's a big pillar. But the judiciary is a very big pillar, and as we have discussed two cases, these work together. And to work together, we need a dialogue. So I would sort of just say, maybe on behalf of all of us, that we need this dialogue. There are many forums, and we'll be in touch. I suppose we'll. Okay.
Definitely. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you all. I especially thank our panelists here and those who made this conversation fruitful. We shall compile the key points and insights shared today and forward them in a letter to the concerned and relative ministries so that we can continue this conversation further. While there's a lot more to discuss here, as we can all say and agree upon, we shall end this panel discussion with some thoughts from the Earth Charter, especially. Can I just ask Ananya to close the event, please?
Before we formally end the discussion, I would like to welcome Ms. Pragya Baghel, Secretary, Supreme Court Bar Association. Thank you, ma'am, for your presence. Thank you to all our panelists for a truly insightful and thought-provoking discussion. At this time, I would like to invite Deeksha Aggarwal, ma'am, again to give her vote of thanks.
Well, first of all, I extend my deepest gratitude to Mr. Karthikeya Sarabhai for giving us the enlightening situation which we are having today. So enlighten how to go about it, how to solve it. And he spoke about this carbon and carbon dioxide, which is something new to us and very important seems to be. And Dr. Loveleen, the best idea that I got from you is that the textbook should also speak about it, not only the discussions. So that tomorrow children should also come up and they know what it is, how the planetary well-being is important, because in early days we never knew about it. And Dr. Vasanti Rao, thank you, pointed regarding Aravali judgment, which is really very important, and Sir, our Justice has really taken note of it. I want to say that I sincerely thank everyone and each one of you to have taken out precious time to encourage the young team to work towards endless efforts. मंजिलें उन्हीं को मिलती है जिनके सपनों में जान होती है, पंखों से कुछ नहीं होता, हौसलों से उड़ान होती है. So thank you so much. With these words I close thanking you. Thanks once again.
Yes. Meanwhile, we invite everyone to collect their free copy of the book at the registration counter or via the QR code, the book can be downloaded for free. In support for spreading the cause as widely as possible.
There is one celebration cake here coming for a while, only 2 minutes. Sarah birthday. Come.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Kartik. Happy birthday to you. Just did not like made it point. Better this.
पहले केक के बाहर ब्राउन पेपर
हाँ but then उसमें क्रीम नहीं होती थी. It was dry वाला baking. Yes, thank you so much, sir. We'll.
Thank you.